Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Neil AI podcast. Today we have Ross with us, and we will talk about AI and blockchain and potential challenges on the adoption of AI. And this episode is in partnership with CODA, the Conference on Digital Assets that will be held here in Portugal on May 7 and 8. You have a discount code on the description, as well as a discount for your stay here at your hotel. And we have Ross today with us. He's a pioneer, leader, and entrepreneur in the fintech sector and blockchain. He has been working in this area for over 15 years, and he has helped incubate and accelerate, I would say, dozens, if not more, of startups in the fintech, crypto, Web3 industry. So thank you, Ross, for being part of this.
Cool. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you for inviting me as well.
Perfect.
Glad to be on this podcast and glad to be invited on CODA to share what I've got through there's been a lot of journeys through my experience dealing with blockchain because I'm fully dedicated to the blockchain from early 2017, from the end of 2016. Before that, full commitment to fintech and banking. So the transition was smooth for me anyway.
Okay.
Nowadays, of course, I'm trying to mix blockchain and AI. Not trying, it's kind of must for me and for everyone to mix blockchain and AI to kind of have this double focus and try to apply AI technology as well to what expertise and experience I've got. And I'm glad to speak at CODA and share my experience, share my ideas. Hopefully, there will be few or maybe not few meaningful meetings over there, partnerships. I am open to that. As right now working on few projects dedicated to crypto trading, crypto payments, and AI product development under the incubator, which called Launch United at the time, partner of. So great to
Nice.
have this opportunity to talk with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's an honor. It's a real honor to have you here. So I have a main question for you, and maybe it's the core topic of this episode, which is technology adoption, right? So you have been working on the financial services industry, on the fintech industry, which was the first area to embrace blockchain. And I will say is the only area where people directly associate like or link blockchain with a practical use on their daily lives, which is transacting, right? And if you're in Europe, if you're in the US, maybe the benefits are not that clear. But I'm from Venezuela, and Venezuela, it had a lot of regulations. In
Yeah,
Latin America, it's not that easy to access the financial markets. So I do see I was able to capture the potential, especially because Venezuela you couldn't transact in dollars a few years ago. Now you can, but at the time you couldn't. So
yeah.
what what would you say were the main factors that made blockchain a success in financial services, and what should we do on other industries as well if we want blockchain to be fully embraced there?
Yeah, that's quite a question that I'm fighting on since the whole my career related to the blockchain, because at the very beginning I've been asking myself and the whole market pretty much the same question: how to make blockchain popular, widely adopted, used through all technologies, specifically fintech, and so on and so forth. And so far, I came to the conclusion, and that not just on me, my team, and so on, you must forget about the blockchain and think about the actual things and stuff, use cases, products, features that you built on top of that. If you talk about the blockchain with general market, it's like you're talking about the GPUs or processors inside the computers, superconductors, and so on. So it's a very low level thing, which is understandable to us who pretty much in the industry. But for everyone else, they just don't care. What would be the technology that underlines the certain thing that is useful? For example, right now, stablecoins, and that's probably really the use case that really aligned to you and to the Latin America, especially. Stablecoins, they are booming right now, and no one cares about what is the blockchain under it. Everyone just trying to make as much as possible from it by applying that to remittances, applying that to the some kind of payments, domestic payments, buying goods and services, and therefore people are focused on the currencies, which pretty much level up from the topic of blockchain. But in the end of the day, it's too kind of focused as well. And I think that everyone will be talking about the things that you buy, the things that you earn, the way how you kind of work with your financials, with applications, with wallets, maybe about some currencies and assets, but that's not the case, and that would be the solution of the adoption of the blockchain. So stop thinking about the technology, stop thinking about the infrastructure, all of these kind of fancy things that investors and VC like, and start thinking about what users want, and
Yeah.
just go ahead, grab the need, and try to solve it. Specifically with stablecoins, right now, I'm trying to bring the solution of the security of holding your own assets on your own wallet without having the risk to be exposed to kind of anything. I mean that your funds can be seized, that you can that your account can be blocked and so on. But still, you can pay to anything, and or you can send money to everyone, and etc. etc. And
Yeah.
being both business or just private individual. And it will be combined with traditional currencies, with traditional fiat rails, with cards, with bank accounts, and so on. So it will be the single stuff, single solution, and that's the future. And I don't care what the blockchain will be underlying for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So if you talk with any marketeer, they will, I will say, they will agree on this, right? So you never sell the features, you always sell the problem or the outcome or the emotional part of it. So for example, blockchain is not decentralized. Blockchain gives you control, and control is something that you appreciate,
Yeah,
you value, but decentralization is something that the common human doesn't. So you believe the term blockchain will always belong to the technical people, and never to the masses. So you will never have the
yeah.
public asking for blockchain.
Yeah, no one will talk about the blockchain and ask about the blockchain. It is only topic of VCs, marketers that trying to get VCs into the project and get the round completed, and um, and that's it. As no one is talking about the superconductors or
Yeah.
microprocessors and all this kind of stuff that are part of our life, to be honest, except people that develop microprocessors, superconductors, and kind of AI and all other things.
Yeah. But I mean, AI, for example, reach a level of awareness where the general public kind of capture or understands the value. You believe that will
Yeah,
happen to blockchain in the short term, short, mid to long term.
it's already happening. It's already happening, and specifically in Latin, Africa, Asia, uh,
But
even even
always on fintech, right? It has been always on
uh,
fintech. I haven't seen this on
yeah.
other industries.
And that's interesting though, because early days we've been thinking, especially with the rise of NFT, that blockchain will be applied to art, will be applied to any other stuff that kind of related to owning something, to legal, to logistics, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the most use cases are related to the finance and are related to the fintech or payments and trading and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
we just must understand that nowadays, in terms of like a money on the table and what you can build right now and get maybe make some revenue, build a company, and so on and so forth, and be successful in the short term. It's all about finance. It's all about fintech. It's all about empowering the current financial streams, current financial products with the actual inventions in the crypto space. Why not? Why you should fly, or why you should kind of swim so long to develop something visionary and just ignore that a lot of cases are just not covered by the current needs and the current technology. And the second thing is the current way of how government and how laws work. It doesn't this way doesn't give us enough agility to apply blockchain to any other industry. For example, you can remember how the all current stuff with cryptocurrency and blockchain started. It has started completely separately in parallel to everything else. So it was just a gray market without any connection with reality and without any connection with legislation, regulation, and so on. And once it popped up to something big, everyone started to recognize it, and government started to ban cryptocurrency. Like in some countries, other countries started to embrace it, and we
Tax it.
could, yeah, tax it, and we could we had a chance to witness what we called like a crypto winters, with all these ups and downs because of additional regulation and so on and so forth. But on the other side, with all other industries, we don't see that. Or we can see that something is cooking under the hood, but it's not so massive. Either because regulation laws and legislations, these things are huge barrier for adoption and huge barrier for in adoption of new technology and so on and so forth. If you're visionary enough, you will be, and you have, and that's specifically related, proportionally related to how much money do you have in your pocket. You can build something really cool. But my opinion is that tech also is not right here, right now, nowadays, to have the ability to build the blockchain or integrate blockchain or completely move some industry to the blockchain rails or embrace a lot of blockchain products. Either because all these applications are not making enough using blockchain that are built on the blockchain right now. I'm talking about CRM applications on the blockchain or ERP systems on the blockchain. Only the thing that you see booming right now: stablecoins, crypto assets, trading and payments. These are the most valuable
Yeah.
stuff for use cases on the blockchain.
Actually, it's funny that the first episode of our podcast was with Alejandro Machado about blockchain and AI, and he had the same opinion as you, like in the sense that the only vertical where blockchain has found profound success is the financial service, the fintech industry. Other than that, it's still very theoretical, and it's like siloed on the technical teams. So you will say that outside the fintech vertical, the term Web3 is not and will not be a trendy term by the general population.
I would say yes, but it's gonna 99% yes. I always would like to leave something leave some tiny window. Maybe we would see some emerging technology or use case tomorrow. But for now, being through the at least two huge cycles of tries and fails of applying blockchain to anything that we have in our life right now. The first cycle is a huge, you remember that, of course, ICO friendly and so on. The second cycle is DeFi and NFT stuff. And we ended in a world where cryptocurrency as an asset and as a casino or way of making money, trading our assets works, and cryptocurrency in the form of stablecoins works to make payments better and make the yield, gaining yield better and easier. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you think, from all the startups that you have advised, both in crypto, fintech, and nowadays with AI, do you think AI surpassed that tipping point of adoption and people capturing the value, or are we just AI washing everything we do and we will fall into another winter? Because AI also had its own winters.
Yeah, AI as any technology, and getting back to the grandfather or to the roots of everything, the internet technology overall, it had and it has its own ups and downs, its own winters, which also depend on the adoption of the technology, on the adoption, the actual use cases that available through utilizing this technology, or through the government regulation laws response on what's happening on the market, how people behave, what people do, and how people use all this stuff. My personal thoughts on that is we are on the really hot top right now where everyone literally trying to make as much as possible from the AI, and eventually everyone will have AI application on the mobile, on the smartphone, on the laptop, on the TV, freeze and fritter and so on and so forth. But on the other side, the current applications and the current AI technology is incredibly uncertain, and it makes a lot of mistakes in literally all things that you do. So it's kind of, I like to think about the AI right now. It's kind of, you hired not a trainee after the uni, you hired like the person after the last school years or something like that, that's completely blindly trying to solve the high level task. Even though it has a lot of all the knowledge of the world, the internet, and so on, the technology can't be precise enough to keep going with the tasks that you need to operate with real facts. You need to think deeper, even though we have like a lot of thinking models right now, but they still make a lot of mistakes. And it will be the understanding of that, and understanding when everyone will understand the limits of this technology, it will start declining, unless, and that probably would be the case because the expansion of the technology and the speed how we develop the technology right now is incredible. So unless the market or the companies, the technology leaders will figure out how to shift the current AI technology based on LLMs and based on current way of learning, of teaching AI how to do stuff. So unless everyone on the market will understand how to shift it to the actual operating with facts and be like a more precise when it requires to be more precise, then will be the next search ahead.
My take on that is that AI will always make mistakes. Actually, I recorded a video this week about that. AI will always make mistakes. It will improve over time, errors will drop, but it will always make mistakes just because we are handling uncertain tasks and we are handling a world that is not necessarily fully deterministic. Physics can agree or disagree on that. But the type of tasks that we are handling with AI do not have a single valid answer. They have answers that are on a spectrum, so it will always make mistakes, even if it is just because the task is ambiguous. And for me, that will always be the case. The only way we can, as managers, make sure that doesn't affect us that much is if we have a management process in place where we can somehow fall back on on a fallback process whenever the AI makes a mistake. And that is why I try to, showcase to our clients, like, assume it will always make a mistake. How do we manage the fallback case where it made a
Yeah,
mistake? How would we recover from that? The error rates will drop at the point where the balance is there, and each and every process we handle, even throwing rockets to the moon, they fail from time to time, and we are okay with that just because the
yeah,
trade-off is there. We shouldn't expect
definitely.
AI being different. It will always fail. Human fails. Tasks sometimes are ambiguous. Rockets fail. You can go visit the Titanic and sometimes it explodes. But so it will always have a certain error tolerance. As managers, we just need to understand where is the error rate, if that is good enough for me as a business, and whether or not we have a fallback plan whenever there is a mistake. But yes, I believe once people start understanding that there are maybe more mistakes that they thought of at the beginning, they will slow down on what things they are
Yeah.
delegating on AI.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Interesting take on mistakes. Just a few words about that because mistakes are okay, and I agree with you that AI will always have mistakes. But right now, the thing is that AI doesn't understand that it made a mistake.
But humans neither. So
It
if you ask a
humans
person,
humans they do understand that they do not know something, and based on that, yeah, of course they make a mistake, but AI pretends that it knows and therefore makes a mistake. So
yeah,
I think it's kind of two different cognitive things that we need to figure out how to manage, to proceed further with all these kind of mistakes and embracing AI in different industries.
yeah. But it's a management thing. I don't believe it's a technology thing. Of course, technology will make progress and will reduce the error rates. But as managers, we need to understand that trade-off. Because sometimes as humans we
Yeah,
react on certain scenarios. Sometimes we don't know the answer, and I mean, you coach entrepreneurs, so entrepreneurs are making a lot of decisions on uncertain scenarios. They are guessing the best answer, even if they don't know what is the right way to go. And as humans, we also
yeah,
tend to answer even if we don't know the actual answer. As long as for us the trade-off is there, we move
yeah.
forward.
I agree with that. Yeah.
One final question: what would be your advice for anyone trying to create a startup nowadays with blockchain in 2025?
I would target the advice to people that do not have a diploma from the top university of the world and do not have the wide network that wide network of investors that stand in a queue to give you money. So I would target my advice to these particular founders
Yep.
or wannabe founders, people, creative people that want to build something in their life. And the first thing is to understand is that you shouldn't try to build next Uber or next Circle or anything else big, bigger enough that bigger you can chew. You shouldn't 99% of your life try to change the world overall. Business is about the sustainable idea, sustainable kind of execution of that idea, and then changing the world. And the key is in sustainability. Why I'm talking about that? Because as a partner of Launch United Incubator, I see that a lot, and we specifically working with these issues with our projects that we incubate and grow and launch on the market. Sustainability is not about the ecology or something like that. It's about the business that makes money. And once it makes money, it's sustainable and it can be ready for growing, for changing the world, for growing in the idea or in the market that the business wants to, and to anything else. So try to find the thing which is realistic enough on your current resources, on your current need, on your current things that you have, and build it. Build it while you have the full-time job. Build it on like a nights and weekends. Build it with people around. Try to find anyone that you can help you for free or for exchange or something, for additional work that you could do for them, and build it to the point when you'll have a product, it will have relevant use case, and it will make some money and will have the 99% probability of sustainability. That's the focus for me right now, and that's the focus specifically in that market. Because if you want to build something that completely new technology and changes everything in blockchain or AI, changes how people behave, changes how people do things, you must have enough money in your pocket, investors knocking in your doors and just throwing money in your windows. And even though you have that, it doesn't mean that you must focus on something visionary and big. Maybe you just need to shift your focus to the idea or to the problem that lies that stands in front of you, and you can fix immediately and make people's lives better. So
Yeah.
try to do something realistic, meaningful, while while you have some current resources, and try to build sustainable business at first, and then think about like a startups and all this kind of great stuff for unicorns and changing the world and so on. Unless you betting on like a fortune, and you have Bill Gates as your uncle, and and Elon Musk as your neighbor or something like that.
Yeah. It's crazy that this should be like the most obvious advice we could get, which is build a business that is sustainable from day one or as close as possible
Yeah,
to day
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah,
But it's not obvious for startup founders. They try to build everything like something that will save the world. And nowadays that we shifted the economic cycle, from fast growth into, let's make some real money
yeah,
on a
yeah.
day-to-day basis, this principle becomes even more relevant. Like, this is the way business should operate. It shouldn't be necessarily always on a
Definitely,
future promise. Yeah. So I like
definitely.
that approach. Well, thank you, Ross, for being here. It was a great conversation. I would like it to have another one, and we will have another one on May 7 and 8 as part of the conference on digital assets here in Porto, the Porto Business School. And we are looking forward to see you there, and I'm looking forward to be at your session.
Thanks, Karen, for inviting me. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.